Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. Quick, hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on our socials too: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on whatever you're listening to this podcast on. Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. My name is Ruru and I am a TV holic. Now today Mimi's not here again because she hasn't watched yet. I'm sure she will at some point. Zombieverse season 2. She hasn't watched season 1 either, but we're working on that. We're working on getting her to watch Devil's Plan. She's on season 1 of that. We will be hopefully recapping that pretty soon. And then we're getting her to watch, what's the other show where they kind of like, Agents of Mystery, that's it, season 2, because she's watched season 1. She wasn't really a fan of season 1 of Agents of Mystery, but I think that she's gonna like season 2 because they've upped the ante on that, and it's like the production values like through the roof, and they've made it more like scary, interesting. There's so many like jump scares and so much like random weird stuff. It's very interesting. Okay, so now let's get on with the episode. So I just want to talk about like this season's called New Blood. The first season, it didn't really have a title like that, but I think it's called New Blood because like they're mixing in the old cast with the new cast. Also, guys, if you hear like a noise in the background, sorry about that. There's like stuff going on outside. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, so Zombieverse, like you guys already know, is like a Korean reality kind of, I think it's like a game show, kind of variety show, kind of, unscripted kind of situation. And I feel like this season, more than last season, it kind of felt like more of a, like they were LARPing. If you guys know what LARPing is, like live action role play, it felt like, Dex and, Seong and Din and everyone was like LARPing in this season. It was interesting, but not, I feel like it wasn't, they could have made it better because certain things I didn't like, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, certain things I did not like about the season and certain things I did. I think they did really well, but it's just like a whole hodgepodge of different things like they could have, but I'll get to those bits when I get to them. Anyway, so yeah, it also felt like I like the way that they put the, the health bar up on the screen, like it kind of made it look like a zombie apocalypse kind of like computer game. So that was interesting. And then I just feel like also season 2 was better in some ways than season 1, but in other ways not as good. And like I said, I'll get to that. Okay, so I just want to break down like the cast and let's just split it up into like the original survivors and like the new blood, like I said. So returning this season, the veterans from season 1 are Dex, and as you guys already know, Kim Jin-young, former UDT soldier, and he's like basically the undisputed hero of the show. They always put him like act like he's like, number one, the hero, they give him like the god kind of like edit. In real life he's just like also like a mega star in South Korea, and that's all basically, thanks to like Singles Inferno season 2, this season that he was on. And he's been on so many different variety shows. I'll talk about some other variety show that I've seen him on as well. But maybe not. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll do another episode about that. But recently I saw him on this reality TV show where this guy, this really tall guy, I think like a basketball player or something, they actually got into a physical altercation, which was kind of interesting. The guy just didn't like him. Maybe like, I felt like some, like jealousy vibes or something weird like that, or like something maybe he did to piss him off. And that's how that happened. Anyway, so that was interesting. So it looked like they just like were banging, like had each other's heads against each other, and there was a lot of like arm flapping about, and then other people on the show kind of got involved as well and started to like pull them off each other. Yes, that was interesting. What was I saying? I think like basically Dex brings this kind of like tactical like competence to the group, and he's like always saving the group in all the situations. They have made him the, like hero of the show. And that goes again for season 2. He's like basically, the leader alongside Lee-seong, and she is a professional actress, and she was in the TV show Sweet Home, and she's a former amateur boxer, and they've like typecast her as like the tough mum, kind of like tough mother kind of role of the group. So, that's her position that she plays, and she's back again. And then there's Din, and he's like a rapper or a former rapper. I don't know if he's still rapping and stuff, and he's back again, and he's like in a lot of variety shows too. Uh he's often like the cowardly like comic relief, but he kind of like is smarter than he looks on the show, because he does have some like heroic moments too. And then there's Suki, and she's a member of this K-pop group called Billy, and she's known for like her expressive like facial expressions and like being scared all the time on the show. But people last season were like really pissed off by her like constant screaming and screeching. And then there's Patricia, and she's a popular TV personality and YouTuber, and her brother was on the show Zombieverse with her last season. Her brother Jonathan, he's also like a really popular YouTuber in South Korea. She I think provides like great chemistry with like Din, and isn't like, I think, afraid to like call people out and say stuff. And I'm pissed that they cut her from the show. I'm also pissed they cut Suki from the show as well. They cut a lot of people, which is really annoying. Now the new faces on the show, I think there was. Oh, okay. So let's talk about Taeyoon, and she's from Girls' Generation, and she's like the queen of like K-pop, people say, and her like inclusion for the show was like a big surprise, I think. And in real life, she's known for being like an introvert and like a homebody kind of like personality. That's her personality. And so seeing her in like a zombie like apocalypse kind of like massive like it's like a massive contrast, I think, because I think it's like so far fetched from what she'd be like normally used to doing. And then there's Yuk Sung-jae, and he's from BTOB. I don't know how I'm meant to say that, but he's like an acting idol kind of thing. So um he's very athletic, and like he's kind of like, I think they were meant to him and Dex were meant to be like both are meant to be like heroes of the show. And he competes with Dex on the show, I think, for like the bravery role. But obviously they want Dex to have the hero edit, so Dex is like number one for South Korea right now in terms of like he's like what all the girls are into and stuff like that. So, and they want to always typecast him into the same role because he does well there. So I think that's why they're giving him the hero edit, like I said. So there can't be two heroes, Sung-jae, so I think that's why they didn't, end up making him a hero. And then there's I don't know how to say this person's name, but Code Kunst. Kunst. That's how you spell it. And then this person is like a famous hip hop producer, and he's known for being like extremely like skinny and like weak looking. And he's in variety shows too. He's been in quite a few variety shows. And this kind of makes like his survival attempts on the show kind of look really like funny and hilarious because he looks really weak and he doesn't look like he could, do much in a fight or like save himself from a zombie or like save others from a zombie. And then there's Kyung E Eun-bi, and she's a former I-Zone member and a water bomb goddess. I don't really know what that means, but that's what, you know, has been written about her. And she basically brings this kind of like energy and like competitive, like high energy, and like she has like competitive like spirit about her. And then there is Jo Seho, and Jo Seho is like a veteran comedian, and I believe he was also in Chu Song-hoon's show. I think I did an episode about him. Or I can't remember, season 1 of his show, Try Chure. And basically he is there to like stir the pot and create like unfortunate situations. Oh no, I think I'm getting him confused with the other comedian guy. Never mind. Also, Andre Rush, he's like a chef, and he's like an American chef, and he's also like known for like he's like being a former White House chef. And he's got like 24-inch biceps, and he's literally built like a tank, and he acts like the group's like physical shield, kind of like, especially in like the the like start of this season. I think he filmed this at the same time as when he filmed the other show, uh, the chef show, the cooking show, when he came on as like one of the mukbang contestants. What's it called? Oh, damn it! It's gonna piss me off now. What the hell is that show's name? Chef something? No. Culinary Class Wars, that's it. Okay. Anyway, so yeah. I think they killed him off too quickly as well. And I don't like how, well, not really. Oh, he kind of came back as well. Never mind. We'll get into it when we get into it. Okay, so I'm just going to break it down kind of like episode by episode. Let's see how far I get by going episode by episode. So the first episode, if you guys remember, they started it off in as like there was like a new group of evacuees arriving on Jeju Island. Jeju is like an island off the coast of South Korea. It's part of South Korea, and it's like really like it's a holiday spot for a lot of Koreans, and it's like really nice and beautiful, and it's like very tropical and beautiful. Also, this was like sanctioned as like a zombie safe haven, and it's never faced any zombies before. And that was like quite interesting because everyone felt like they were safe. But obviously they knew they were on this show, so they were like anticipating something happening to them. So everyone looked scared, like the new guys. So they started off the show by basically showing the new guys. And then like basically the season starts on Jeju Island, which I said. And in the safe haven. So this was like a hotel kind of situation. So the new evacuees arrive thinking like basically they're safe. And then you also see like the veterans from season 1 arrive separately. They arrive on the bus, and then there's a twist because another bus carrying infected people crashes into the safe zone, and the safe haven is no longer a safe haven and becomes this kind of like bloodbath within minutes. Like it's like so explosive. Like from outside they have to there's like loads of obstacles that they have to go through. So like they have to. I love how they do these like random obstacle courses. Like they did the one on the inside when everyone was running around in circles and using like the lockers to trap people. Like the around the hotel at the top. There's like this circular kind of balcony area, and that's what they were like running around. And then it was kind of like a computer game. there as well. And then also they did the same thing when, they were all climbing the cargo net and when they all had to like jump up on the cars and stuff like that as well outside the hotel. So that was interesting. And everyone was at different moments. So the new people were inside the hotel, and then the old people were outside the hotel. So they were on the hotel grounds, and then they all met up together at the end. When when they got to a place where they could meet up. Anyway, so where was I? Yeah, so basically, I just want to say that when like Code, I'm going to call him Code because I don't want to say the other word because it's going to sound like see you next Tuesday. Code was trying to like run while like looking like he's about to like blow away in the wind. It was just like so hilarious because he's like so skinny and like frail, and it just looked like the wind was gonna like get him or knock him over. And then there's like the veterans. Let's just talk about the veterans for a second. So they like basically they immediately started to like panicking because they remember the trauma from like the Seoul kind of like escape in season 1 when they escaped from, I believe they were in Gangnam or in somewhere in Seoul. Yeah, so they were remembering that and like freaking out. So that was like interesting and funny, and like they also knew what to do as well because they had some experience like with the obstacles courses and stuff like that they have to get through. Also, I just want to say that it's you can really see the trauma in their faces because they're remembering it and like freaking out. And another thing is that you kind of get like freaked out by the like the sheer amount of people throwing themselves at each other, and also that cargo rope that they had to climb, the cargo net that they had to climb. That was like really scary because it seemed like they could just like fall off because there was no like safety protocol. There was like normally if you're climbing something that large, basically you'd be like you have like a rope attached to you, so if you fall, you don't fall to your death. I know there was like a small little cargo net at the bottom, but I feel like didn't they have to sign a waiver or something to say that if you die, you die kind of situation? And then those people breaking through the windows when they were trying to climb up the cargo net was scary and crazy because like anyone could have just like had like a shock and like fallen off. Like I know I would have freaked out and been like and like fallen off because you're not expecting that. You're only expecting the fear factor to come from below, from the zombies trying to climb up the cargo net from below, not from crashing through the window. But yeah, it was great for TV. It was great, like visuals. Like I loved like watching it. Um, do I have anything else to say about that? Not particularly. So let's move on to episode 2. And this is like when like the group basically learns about like the new blood, and then the zombies are like also faster and stronger and all like have like different behaviors and stuff like that. So they learn about stuff like that. And they have to reach like a rescue site on the island. And Dex basically has like a hero moment and he performs like this kind of like high stakes revival like retrieval mission um that basically I think reminds everyone why he's like the leader or why he's like the head honcho. I don't know how scripted that was, but you know um yeah. So also like Dex and Seong, you can really see them as like the survivors, like group leaders. There's only like 3 survivors left really at this point. um so yeah, so the survivors basically are like regrouping um after they like had their like daring escape, and they also hear about like a rescue operation, but they all board the rescue helicopter at the same time, and then they realize they can't get on. Like I like how they okay, let's just go back. So they basically got on, they went to a restaurant, I believe, which was no. Did they go to the restaurant? Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember if the restaurant was before or after. uh I know they all, yeah. So they went to the restaurant, to regroup, and this is basically where they meet up with Patricia. And then when they meet up with Patricia, she is basically they have like this was really weird. I found it a bit strange. They had the two black people interacting with each other because basically just because they're black, which I found like odd and like I don't know. I felt uncomfortable with that. And then they like so like he was trying to talk to her on the chef Andre, and he couldn't talk to her because she doesn't know any English, and she was trying to like converse with him, but she could only converse in Korean, so it was like comic relief. And he cooked basically burgers for them all, I believe, and she was just helping like him cook. And then like everyone was eating their burgers, and then they all decided to go to they went to got on these like buggies and decided to not buggies, what are they called, dune bikes, and or like off-road vehicles, and they were like going through like Jeju in that, and then there was like some which I thought was dangerous. If I'm recalling this right, there was some, I was going to say vampires, but I mean zombies on the way while they were driving through the like foresty or like whatever terrain it was, a situation to get to the helicopter part. So they saw the helicopter, they were like trying to wave it down, and then the helicopter landed. So they went to where the helicopter was, and then the pilot was like, "We need to refuel, and we can only take a certain amount of like weight." So like the helicopter couldn't like raise up. um, I thought this was crazy because you're not meant to like stuff a helicopter full of people. That's so super dangerous because I have been in a helicopter before, and you have to all get weighed, the people that are going to be in a helicopter, because it can only take a certain amount of weight, and you can't sit where you want to either. Like you have to sit according to the weight distribution. So like I ended up sitting in the front next to the pilot, and then the other people that was with, they sat in the back. I am terrified of heights, so that was scary for me. So I understand like there's a bit of the dynamics about the helicopter. So I thought it was crazy that they just stuffed a bunch of people in the helicopter and no one was seat belted or anything. There was no I feel like there's no safety protocols on this show at all, and they're getting away with a lot because if you were in the US or the UK or somewhere in Europe, I don't think like these safety guidelines, like I think they'd have much more emphasis on safety. Like they would never let anyone like just board a helicopter like that and you know, be in such a like messy situation like that. I don't know what kind of like I keep saying, like I don't know what kind of like releases they made them sign, like sign their lives away. Like if you die, you die. Like on the show, I don't know. It's just not making any sense to me. The math ain't mathing. Anyway, so I'm digressing. I just want to say that I don't think that it's like I don't think this like helicopter thing was a good idea. Also, I didn't like the way that they had to go like, all the way up to the pump station and back, and like I know that was the way that they were going to get rid of some people and some people had to stay and the rest of them had to run for the helicopter, but everyone really essentially made it. And then basically they just said that, oh, we can take off with everyone apart from Andre and Patricia, which is crazy as well. How did the helicopter like lift up with all those people in it? It's not making sense. Um, Also, no one was buckled in, and it was giving me immense anxiety. Like they could just open the door and like some like people could fall out to their death. Like I wouldn't have been like okay with this if I was on the show. Uh yeah, so anyway, I keep going back to that bit. I thought it was crazy how they just left Patricia and um the other guy, Chef Andre there. And I thought that was like it had a touch of racism to it. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. It was not okay with me. Okay. Not more than a touch, more than a touch. Okay. Let's just say that. I didn't like it at all. Secondly, I don't know why like they made it so easy and cool for like, Dex and East-young to like just be like, okay, we're just gonna, be cool with her going and like leaving her here with some random chef guy that she doesn't know how to communicate with. That was odd because if they were with her, according to the show, from season 1 and season 2, and then according to the show, they were like staying here together as like a little family unit, those three. Why would they just let her go with some random guy and like the zombies were closing in on them. Like, it's not making any sense. It's not making any sense. Someone like make it make sense. Also, why were the zombies just like loads of zombies just running around in the island, like, you know, in the middle of nowhere? Wouldn't they be going to where the noise is and like where people are and where they can smell like, human flesh so they can eat it, or brains or whatever they do? Anyway, I'm digressing. I didn't like that at all. So then episode 3 is like all about the like luxury resort and the pool scene and stuff like that. I really like this, and it felt kind of relaxed. And it was also weird that they went to this like club restaurant thing situation, hotel situation, um, while in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and how it was just like open and people acting like it's normal. It was just so strange. And then they had like, like a whole like dance party, like event, like pool party thing, which was strange as well. So yeah, I'm gonna get into that. It was like it was I liked it, but then I also thought it was a bit stupid as well. So this was like, I think this was on the mainland, and the survivors like went to like the club, and it was on the beach. It was a beach town, I think probably in somewhere like Busan or something. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Busan, Busan, or something like that. Um, and you also they while they were there, they spotted a like familiar face, and they didn't really understand like how he survived like after becoming a zombie, because we know and they know that he was like eaten. So they were like all shocked. So I like how they keep putting people in the show, like at later episodes, like they trickle people in, which is fun. It's always fun to have people like trickle in and trickle out, and like people pop up from like before and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that this was like an interesting plot line that they had, because the survivors finding like this, it was kind of like a rest spot for them to just like relax a bit after like tense situation. Like we can't always be on like high alert as viewers. Like it can't be like stressful all the time. We need some like moments of like comedy and like relaxation and stuff. And like them being in the luxury resort, it seemed like kind of like a dream like scenario for them and for us. And that's all until they like realize that the zombies are in like the pool and in like the hallways and stuff like that. And basically in this episode, Yang Yi-yoon, ex CLC, um is in a bikini as like a zombie extra, or a survivor in the like pool kind of area. And there was also a lot of controversy about this episode as well. A lot of people were saying that it was like very scripted, and there was debates about like the survivors like seemed to like make like dumb horror movie like choices in this like particular episode. And basically it was just done to like prolong the tension and stuff. Like I also saw there was like when they had like this kiss cam thing in the middle of this episode when they were out by the pool, it went on to Dex and Seong, and I feel like there was like a lot of like tension and chemistry between them, because like she was like no, I'm married, and then he was like pretending to kiss her, and then for the camera. And he's always like, I noticed like in season 1 and in season 2, he's always like, like, there's a lot of contact that he makes with her, physical contact, like on her back or her arm or something like that. It's just very, like, I feel the sexual tension between them two, even though, one's married and one's like an eternal single, um, for the time being until he like marries or whatever. Or I don't know what he's going to do with his life. Anyway, so yeah, that episode, also in that episode, they went to like they split the group up as well. So they went to, some of the group were downstairs and some of the group were upstairs because they couldn't make it to they weren't allowed to go up. They were only letting the young good looking people go up to the pool. And then they had like this scene where like was really stressful while the zombies were in the pool, and then they had to save I think her name's Eun-bi, because she was singing and she just did this whole concert kind of thing at the pool party. And then they saved her, like Dex and some other people saved her, and the other group went because to go chase. I believe they went to go chase him. Not sure. Yeah, they went to chase their former zombie friend. I forgot his name. What's his name again? Ugh, keep forgetting people's names. Ro. Let's just call him Ro because I think it's Ro something. Ro Hyung or Ro something. Anyway, yeah, so they went to go chase him, and then he ends up at this hotel, this little motel kind of situation, and then that becomes kind of like a computer game, and everyone's standing outside. So there's two factions. So Dex stays with some of the other guys, and then to save, like I said, the girl, the damsel in distress, and then Isian goes with a bunch of the other people to the hotel. And this is where I didn't like what happened. So Suki dies here, or gets bitten and turns into a zombie. And yeah, she's no longer um one of like part of this. And then also I didn't like how they got rid of Patricia and they got rid of Andre, but Andre comes back later. And then who else? I think some other guy. Oh yeah, some of the other guys as well also get, bitten by the zombies, and that was upstairs, when they're going through. That was really scary, going in, and there was like zombie kind of dog situation. That guy was like a dog. He kept crawling on the staircase and everything and chasing them all. And I just don't feel like I wouldn't have gone in there in the first place because there's narrow hallways and how are you meant to get out of that? Obviously, a zombie's going to bite you if a zombie's in front of you. Like you're not meant, you can't get out, and they all got trapped on the roof. They all ran up to the roof, and that zombie dog kept like chasing them to the top. And then that's where Suki died and some not died, but zombified, and then some other people as well. I can't remember who else it was up there. But they were all hiding behind the sheets, and then they're remembering to like stay still so the zombies don't know who they are. And then like a pigeon came, and then Suki screamed, and then she was a goner. They dragged that out so long, and that really pissed me off. How they dragged that scene of them just standing there for like so long. Anyway, they save Eun-bi, and then they're off on their merry way. So they're off on their merry way, so they're going to a bunker. So basically, in episode 4, there's like a game, like a deadly um they're like looking for like a potential cure because they obviously know that Ro he's like half zombie, so they're like, and they talked about it and stuff, so they're looking for a potential cure. So they decided to go back to Seoul. And basically the group's like moving towards like the mainland, and they get like trapped by like a dark trapped in a like catastrophic like bunker setting kind of situation. And then you kind of like um let's just talk about like the season kind of like introduces like life bars and stuff like that. That's when they have, like as in like in a zombie kind of game, or like any kind of video game, like how much life bars you have left, and like above people's heads, like a video game. And then there's Jo Siho, trying to use logic with like a zombie, and like he's like failing miserably, basically. Yeah, so this underground bunker situation, I didn't really like it too much. I found it really annoying. Um, I'm just gonna have to like kind of refresh myself on this because I can't remember too much about it, so I'm gonna have to take a quick look to like remember what was going on here. The underground bunker situation, it's not really, the math is not mathing for me on that one. Um, I really don't remember it. Like, I just remember them running. Oh yeah, Ro. Also, when they got bitten, Ro basically he was he ran away while all this happened. So, they didn't. Oh, actually, yeah, he ran downstairs and I think they grabbed him downstairs and then they went on this like camper van adventure as well. So, um, they're going on this camper van adventure, and that's when they get to the underground bunker situation. So when they were on the camper van, you know what I found so freaking disgusting on the show? I don't know how they did. I don't know how they filmed this. I don't know if this was real or not, but it it drove me nuts watching this. So yeah, like in the camper van, they were like squeezed in, and they had like they were like talking, and it looked like fun. It looked like they were having fun. And I know Korea, everyone in Korea loves camping. They're obsessed with camping. It's like a thing. And they went to the rest stop and they all had to pee. So the comedian guy with the sunglasses, and um Sung-jae, yeah, Sung-jae basically were like taped together with like makeshift tape, like kind of what's that tape, duct taped together, their hands together with Ro and the zombie, and he needed to go pee, so he was like, all right then, let's go pee. And then he was peeing and then he got piss all over them. He pissed all over them, and on top of that, like, they filmed the whole peeing experience. There was a camera in the urinal, and obviously they didn't show his junk. There was a camera in the urinal, and then like they showed like segments of it, and they showed the guys freaking out because they were getting pee on themselves. Oh, he was getting pee on them. This was actual real urine, I'm guessing. And they were like freaking out, and I was so grossed out by this situation. And then after that, he said that he needed to take a shit. So, oh yeah, and they blurred out they put an elephant on his like junk when he moved out. Like, oh, you could really see. Oh, and they show the pee coming out as well. They show pee coming out of it, and then he tried to aim it on. He tried to aim it on them both, and that was horrific and disgusting. I don't know why they agreed to go to the toilet with him and duct tape themselves to him when they knew this could happen. Like, I just don't understand. In terms of the show, and what kind of show is this? Like, why would you show this? Like, this is so gross and disgusting. I don't want to see like him pissing on people and them like, and it didn't even look like they changed clothing or anything. Like, they just carried on the rest of the trip in like these disgusting clothes. Anyway, then he like zips up and then he decides that he wants to go like take a crap, and then there's like zombies. So they realize there were zombies in the, cubicles next door. So the zombies outside the door, and they're like freaking out, and they've locked themselves in the toilet. And then he's like, but I really need to take a dump. And then they were like, all right, then go on, take a dump. It was like, it's so disgusting. And then there was no toilet roll, so they needed toilet roll. So they got it from the zombie next door that was like dead, like on the toilet. And like they covered his stick in in feces. Well, it looked like feces, and no one wanted to be touched by the feces. And they all went down on the floor and like were all up against the dirty, grimy toilets, and the rest stopped. It was like really disgusting. I could not with that. And like I said, after they got out, all they did was wash their hands, and then they bought some random stuff that they thought they might need from like a from like stuff outside, like that was for sale, like at like a car boot sale kind of situation. And then they like drove on. They went through this tunnel and got to Seoul, and then they had to get out of the camper van, because they couldn't go any further. So they went through the tunnel, and they're all like, walking for ages through the tunnel, and then they found like, this kind of underground like haven for people. But it was kind of weird because there was people there, but there was also you know zombies. So there was like people looking after their zombie relatives or friends or loved ones, and like there was zombie kids, and there was like zombie parents and like zombie brothers, and like then there was kind of like this situation where someone had to like decide what to do, because a fight broke out, and like one of the zombies like um broke out, and there was also a gambling moment where Dex like kept gambling for some reason. We showed that that's his weakness, gambling. Um, we saw, and so like yeah, so like the twin brother, the judo brothers, like zombie brothers, they kind of like um what's it called? One of them, the one that turned into a zombie kind of got free and like started attacking someone, and they were like, well, we have to, get out of this situation. We have to do something, and no one did anything. So Eun-bi ended up, killing the twin brother zombie because um no one else would do it. So she kind of like saved the day. And then basically like what happened, sorry, I'm just trying to think. Then they went down into the tunnels and everything, and they had to do like this obstacle course like in the tunnels, and um because they had to escape into the tunnels basically because everyone was turning into zombies. Gonna turn into zombies because everything was getting all wild and crazy. And yeah, so then in the next episode, that's when we see them like running through the tunnels and everything like that. So that's episode 5. They're running through the tunnels, and basically in this episode, they do like all these like obstacle courses, and they're carrying like a whole load of like zombie like refugees with them, not zombies, but fleeing the whole zombie situation. And then like when they go through the tunnels and everything to get out, um, they basically like losing people because like zombies are like attacking everyone from above and below and everything, and they can't see, and they have to use the walkie-talkies, which I thought was crazy because that's scary, like in a situation like this, you can't see nothing. And I don't know how they managed to do all this stuff. Like this was really like tunnels somewhere in Seoul, so maybe it was like they got permission from like the government or like subway stations or something to like walk through these tunnels. And there's a lot of like stuff like that. And then they were like people like grabbing you in the middle in the dark, and no one could see anything. It's also dangerous, like people can fall and like bust their heads open or hit a corner or something. And then like they lost a lot of people in that situation. Then they had to do this weird like and the next section was when, oh no, so the group split up. I forgot to say. So like Sung-jae was in one group, and he went with the other comedian guy, and um their group had to like do this like not bowling, but what's it called, curling kind of situation. They had to like throw people down in a bucket down the like aisle. And this was Sung-jae and yeah, his group. And there was also Harvey. Oh yeah, so I forgot to say, in the underground tunnel there was Harvey from, I believe it's Harvey, his name, I can't remember. But he was from Physical 100, I believe, season 2 or season 1, I can't remember. But yeah, so he went quite far in the competition, and now he's on this variety show as well, which I thought was interesting. And then yeah, so he's in Sungjae's group, and then there's also Din Din in that group as well, I think. Sungjae and Din Din. Let's see who else is there. Did they? Yeah, Sungjae and Din Din, and yeah, Din Din wasn't really upset that he lost Suki as well. Like, as in they were meant to be the only two survivors in their little group, because the two groups got fractioned off. One went on the ship, and the other one at the end of season 1. So it wasn't like he was upset about losing Suki, which I thought was strange as well. Um, they were just like, all right, then we're just doing what we're doing. But I guess at that point, if you are really in a zombie apocalypse, you wouldn't be scared. You'd just be like, okay, it is what it is. Like, everyone's dying around me. I've got to keep moving. Situation. But yeah, so like I said, Sungjae's group and Din Din and the comedian guy, and then there's Dex's group with Seong and Ro, because they're transporting him. Okay, so then we've got like, so through this whole situation, everyone is like, sorry, you might hear me clicking the mouse because I'm just like kind of recapping it while I'm watching. I mean, I'm watching at the same, like not watching at the same time, but I'm kind of like going through some of the episodes. so I can just like refresh my memory a bit. So, like I was saying, um, yeah, so they got broken up into these groups. So Sung-jae's group basically went to do that curling like mission kind of thing. And they got through, and a lot of people were dying in like all the situations. And like each time they go through another obstacle course, like another set of people die. So they're just like weeding it out. So there's like no one left apart from, the core people that are meant to be on the show. Um, which I thought was a bit annoying as well. They could have added more characters and, butched it up a bit. And then basically they're taking we they're so Ro also survives and Seong and everyone survives, and the lights kind of come on at the end of Dex's Dex and Seong's like episode when they were like in the dark, and then they escaped that. I think they escaped the tunnel. Did they escape the tunnel after this? No, I think yeah. There's another quest. Oh yeah, so there's another quest where they have to use the lines like the this is like definitely like a video game. So they can only go on one line. They have to swerve from one line to the other line because the zombies are on one line and they have to go to the other line. That you can only the zombies only go in one in one direction. They can't be on. Okay, they can either go on one line or the other. So you can like swerve them. So there's a green line and a red line. So like Harvey had to carry someone in a bus in a one of the survivors in a what the hell is it called? In a wheelbarrow. Yeah, and he dropped him. And a lot of the survivors got dropped. All the survivors were really weak, and they said that we can't stand, we can't walk. So that's why the cast had to like carry them around and push them around and like in these like in the wheelbarrows or buckets and stuff. And then yeah, it's quite interesting like to watch this. And then all the cast, I believe, like joined up at the end and walked out and they found the subway. So I think, yeah, Sian was coming from one direction and with Ro and Dex and everyone, and then Harvey and those lot were coming from another direction, walking on the tracks. I thought that was crazy that they let them walk on the like rail tracks. Rail tracks can kill you. This is like wild how far they took like the production of this show. Like they really made them walk on like live, maybe not live, but rail tracks. And they had like a whole like scene in the subway station, and then they had like people like in the subway cart and stuff like that. They were actually on a moving subway train, I think it was. Like they filmed this, or maybe people were just moving it. It was crazy. So yeah, that's where they all met up at the subway station, and then they like all boarded decided to like kind of like board this train, and they felt like really relieved when they boarded it. And then they realized that, oh, like there's other people on this train too. Um, so like they were just like looking and they saw like zombies at the back of the carriage because the guys went to like the other end of the carriage and they saw like all this stuff and like all these materials and stuff, and they were like, what's this for? And like why are they transporting all this like bubble wrap and all that stuff? And then they kind of like realize that it's because like there's zombies here. They were doing it like there's all these supplies and they realize up ahead of them, which is kind of crazy that they never looked up, okay, and saw all these other zombies in the other carriage. So there's like all these school kid zombies, and so they realize that, and then they start building like they like start quickly building their like not tent but like their barriers. That's it, barriers, because there's all these school kids and they're like freaking out. You can see Dex and Sung-jae's faces like drop, like these are like young kids, how are we going to get past them? They look really strong and robust. And then the zombies notice them and start coming towards the door, and then they realize that they have to do something, and they basically end up like building like this like defense against them with like cellophane and like, and then after they built it all, Ro decides to grab Eun-bi and say that he's going to kill her. If you don't let me go, I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill her. I'm going to turn her into a zombie. And then that's how that episode ends. And then episode 6. So episode 6 is when they're like, attack, Ro decides to take Eun-bi to the other side of the train. And he's like, nothing's going to happen to you. I just want to escape and this and that. And then the zombies are like full blown coming after these guys on the train. And this is pretty scary. I'd be scared if I was in the situation because these guys are really going to get you, like, and it was scary. Everyone looked scared. They were building all their stuff, and then eventually they got out of the train, and I think they got out with like some other survivors and stuff. I don't. Did they escape with survivors or not? No, I don't think so. Or maybe there were survivors. But basically, someone hit Ro on the head with a hammer or something, and when he was trying to escape with Eun-bi, I can't remember who did it, but someone hit on the head. One of the I think one of the like random people on the train hit, oh no, not, yeah, with a brick or something, and he was like bleeding, and then they took him outside the train station and he was dying, and they got like they had the like they drew blood from him while he was dying, and they got, they needed his blood for like, the cure. So then they came out the train station, and they went to this like museum situation, and they were just like, this episode 6, there was like this crazy some of them went upstairs to explore, some of them went downstairs. So Dex was downstairs crew, and upstairs was Din Din, and who else was upstairs? Din Din and Isian. And basically they saw this like random, like, this was so weird and random. Okay, so there was like a live orchestra playing with a conductor who wasn't like a zombie, but the rest of them were zombies. And there was like so they were like bound and like stapled, all these things were like stapled to them, or like, the instruments, and they carry on playing. And then there was an audience of zombies, and they all had like these like helmets on, so they couldn't, get out and like bite anyone. And I also think their teeth were taken out or something. No. They just had these helmets on, and they were just like all clapping and laughing. And then the people that, the group that went in to see this, they were like, what the fuck? It's like crazy. It was like random and weird and crazy. And they were like disturbed by it. Like, you could see they were really disturbed, and they realized, okay, it's part of the show. But this is really, who thought of this stuff? It's like wild and like creepy. So anyway, so this weird conductor guy, he seems to be like the main antagonist in this like whole, ending climax season of the season. And he's basically, the ring leader of like the whole situation, and he convinces them like to go downstairs and to all like get into this room. And then the other guys are like doing some weird like acrobatics, because they find Justin Harvey is basically like crazy, because Justin Harvey, like, he wants the I don't know if his name's Justin Harvey. I'm calling him Justin. Okay, this is Justin. He's like, he wants the serum because he wants to give it to his boss, who is the conductor, the music conductor guy. Then like they do this, like, there's this whole like gymnastics equipment situation going on, and like a trampoline and stuff, and like there's all these zombies everywhere, and like Dex is doing like climbing ropes and like swinging from one thing to another and just showing his like athletic skills. And they're like climbing over obstacles and jumping over things, and there's like all these zombies are actually, like, I feel like they're athletes, gymnasts and stuff. And we kind of see like Justin, be evil and try and take the stuff for himself, the blood that they just took off Ro for the cure, because he wants to like get something at the end of the day for it or something like that. And then like there's this giant zombie that comes to attack them. Also, like I said before, they went to, sorry, I just saw something and it reminded me of what's going on. The conductor guy, he's basically lured Sian and Dindin and that group to this like round circle kind of room thing, and there's like all these like he's trapped them in there, and then there's like all these like dummies, like not dummies, what are they called, mannequins, and there's he lifts up one of the cloths of one of the mannequins, and it's actually Andre, and he's like a full-blown zombie and who's controlled by this conductor guy, and he just basically tells him Andre to like attack them. And this was crazy because Andre was coming full force at them at the walls, and I don't know how this like worked out. Also, there was like this giant zombie like that they were like all fighting in the uh in the not gymnasium, in the zombie pit kind of thing, not yeah zombie acrobatics pit. And he was like, he did get a few of them. I can't remember who he got. I think he bit Sung-jae, and he also bit someone else. I can't remember who, but Eun-bi was trying to be like really brave, and she climbed on his back. Um, I bet he was like a basketball player or something that wanted to be on the show. But all these people are so agile, and that's how Sung-jae got bit, being trying to be a hero. And then we move on to episode 7, and it's just basically Andre like slamming himself into people, into the walls. This was pretty scary. If I see a giant guy like Andre coming towards me and like slamming into me, trying to slam me into the wall, I would like freak out, because like they've put all this blood on him, and like he's got like all the like blood coming out of his mouth, and he's like screaming and like shaking and stuff, and they all are like freaked out. And he's like literally he's got a bungee rope on him, so like they have to keep running, and eventually he knocks everyone out, and then they're still talking to the guy at the top, and he's like, if you dance, he's telling them to do a dance, and I'll make it stop, and I'll save you and stuff like that. And then basically the comedian guy gets bitten, the guy with the hat that's always wearing the hat, he gets bitten, and the conductor's laughing from the top, and Sian is like in distress, and she's like yelling at him, Isian. And also, who else got bitten? I think the girl got bitten as well. I can't remember her name. I think it's not Eun-bi, it's the other girl. Not sure, but they just do these montages of like when people get bitten, of like all the heroic moments they've had or funny moments. So that's interesting. And then they have like basically who's left? The Dindin is left, and who else? Who else? Dindin and Sian are the only two left, I think, in this situation. And oh yeah, and the other girl as well, the girl in the red hoodie. So they're trying to like they're acting like Andre's a bull, and they've got like this black sheet, and they're like trying to coax him into like running into that. And then basically Andre gets dinned in, and he basically throws everyone on the ground, or the two that he's got, and so there's only the two girls left. um and then he's like, the conductor guy is like, stop, basically. And then I don't, what happens next? I can't remember how this ended. They're just running and trying to stay away from Andre, and then the guys that got bitten just sitting there, and then Andre like makes a hole in the wall, and other people come in. So like there's Sung-jae and who got bitten, and some other guys. Who's the other guy that got bitten? The other comedian guy got bitten, and Dex is very concerned about Sung-jae, because Sung-jae is meant to be his friend. They're the same age, and they're like they're both like hero archetypes and stuff like that. So, and they have to all decide now they're going to have to use the cure on one person, and also they put they realize they realize that Andre's fallen asleep and he's snoring throughout this whole like situation they're having with him. He just fell asleep on the floor while they were filming. He knocked himself out after that wall situation, so they just like cover him with a tarp and he's just like snoring the whole time under the tarp. And they're like always laughing and joking about it through this whole scene. So they decide like who they're going to save. So they're just sitting there and everyone's pleading their case. And then basically they just decide to like, I think, save who did they give the cure to? Sung-jae, I think. Did they give the cure to Sung-jae? No, no, no. Who did they give the cure to? Let me think. They ended up giving it to Din Din. And then after Din Din, they gave it to the comedian guy with the hat, I think. Yeah, they gave it to the comedian guy with the hat, yeah. Did they or Sung-jae? Like, I'm trying to remember who they gave it to. They gave it. Sorry. I'm taking. Yeah, they gave it to the comedian guy with the hat. So then they all like get out. They leave Sung-jae and the other guy, Sae-ho, or whatever his name is, I can't remember. Then they get onto the roof for the crazy finale like roof scene, which I think is crazy. They get onto this. They're right at the top of this building, and they've got this like, you know, I don't know how they filmed this. They've got this like bridge thing that they're all on with like seemingly nothing at the bottom. I'm sure they had like safety stuff at the bottom because they're not going to let these people fall to their death. But yeah, they like all end up like swinging on this thing, and the zombies are coming one by one, and they realize like if we swing a certain direction, everyone all together, we can knock them off. So all the zombies get knocked off and they fall to their death. And then some of the people here, like Sung-jae and the other guy that weren't saved, they also like try and like cross the bridge, and they try and they try and jump to knock off the other people, and the conductor's like telling them what to do. Everyone, also the giant guy as well, so they're like swaying side to side to get rid of them. So Dex is at the front because he's being the hero, so he's at the front, and everyone's swinging side to side to get rid of them. And he's the one who like conducted not conducted, he's their conductor, and the other conductor in white is basically the conductor of the zombies. So he's telling everyone, swing side to side, guys. We can do this. Because there's nowhere to go. So they just have to knock everyone off one by one, computer game style, like all the zombies each time a zombie comes. And when they knock them off, they will basically have, be able to like one more chance for them to survive, because once all the zombies are knocked off, they, can like safely exit the building, like go back into the building and exit it. And this was hilarious because they had like Andre like climb on as well. They knocked him off. They knocked off Justin as well, but these people also took down others as well. They like Sung-jae, I believe, dropped, and then Justin, I think Justin had like a skirmish with like some other people. I think Dex or Justin took down the guy that they saved, the comedian guy. He went down with him, and then Sung-jae, let me just see, how did Sung-jae go? Sung-jae was jumping about like a lunatic and being all crazy. And he's like, I'm coming for you, Eun-bi, and Eun-bi's like, I'm sorry, I didn't save you. I did this to save you, and that's why I'm in this situation. And then what happened? Oh yeah, Sung-jae got pushed down and he took someone else with him. Who did he take down with him? Din Din, I think. Sung-jae and Din Din went down. And then there was only like a few lone survivors. Oh, and then that crazy guy comes on. The the conductor guy. and everyone's like, oh, like trying to run away from him, and he's just like, just give me the cure, basically. And they're like, no, we're not going to give it to you. And they like have like the skirmish. He tries to grab it, and then he tries to grab it off Dex, and then basically everyone's pulling and tugging, and like he's shaking, and then he basically like falls off. Dex kind of pushes him off, and he falls off with the cure as well. So then they all have to go downstairs, basically. You see all the dead people down below, and they're downstairs, and they see all the dead people, and they see if anyone survived, to see if everyone's okay, and they realize everyone's dead. And then they see that the conductor guy's dead as well. He has like this giant thing through him, and I don't know if he is actually a like zombie or not, but I think they collect the blood from him. I think it's him that they collect blood from. I'm trying to recall what happens here, guys. Oh yeah, they see that he's been bitten as well, and then so there's like this pole through him, so they use that to like they prop him up, and the blood drips out of there, so they grab the blood for the cure. It's actually that bit's like it looks really real, super like good, like cinema, not cinematography, but costume stuff, like design, like yeah. So they have that like dripping out of him. They take that, and or I don't. Oh no, they're taking the zombie guy on their back, on what's his name's back, Dex's back. So he's piggy banking him on his back. They're going down all these staircase, and they're going down the streets and stuff, and they're like trying to get to the institute kind of situation. That they're going, and then like the skinny guy is knocking everyone off. Code is like basically knocking everyone, and then also Eun-bi is like hitting the zombies with her bag and stuff like that. So there's obviously going to be a season 3, I'm guessing, because they're still trying to make it to. And Taeyoon is also hitting people. So they're trying to make it to a season 3, I think. And then Defcon is that other comedian guy, and then Sung-jae, they're dead, so or they're zombies. They might come back to life, the zombies, and they might have like be one of the hybrid zombies, but we don't know yet. And Din-din's also gone as well, and the other comedian guy, he's gone as well. So Sae-ho, the other comedian guy, and Suki and them are gone as well. But like this show, it's just fun and everything. And then at the end they show like them all like running through the streets, and they show that the guys in the subway station are looking at like Ro's body, and when they open up the basically the thing that they laid him to rest in, he's not there anymore, and they're just like running through the streets of Seoul basically with this guy on their back, and on Dex's back, so he has to do all the heavy lifting basically. With a grown man on his back, and that's how it ended. I thought it was like really ridiculous when they were doing that swing situation, and I thought it was super dangerous as well, because it did look like it was on the roof of something, but maybe it was just like in the studio or something, and they just added like effect of it being on the roof, because I can't imagine they'd really do that on the roof and put like a net and stuff. I don't know. It just all looks a bit too much. If they did do it on a roof, like I need to like find out if they did it on a roof or not. But that would be crazy if they actually did do it on a roof. If anyone knows, let me know. I will definitely be covering season 3 when it comes out, and hopefully I'll be doing it with Mimi, because I want her to watch this, because it's hilarious, it's scary at times, it's like there's so much going on, and I feel like there's just so much to talk about. If there's anything that I missed in this episode, please let me know. And like I said, I'll be back really soon with some more stuff. Probably the next thing I'm going to be doing is Her Private Life, because I watched that, and also I'm halfway through watching that other K-drama. What's it called? Damn it, I keep forgetting the names of K-dramas. It's a new one. It's got what's her name from Blackpink? Jisoo from Blackpink. Boyfriend on Demand, that's it. Boyfriend on Demand, and then I'm gonna be also trying to do some try chure. We're also going to be trying to pepper in, because we're having some technical issues right now with Mimi's recording devices. So we're trying to. That's why we're not really covering Singles Inferno right now, but we're trying to get that done as well. What I'm talking about is Singles Inferno season 5, the reunion stuff. We did do a whole episode, but it kind of didn't record on her end, so it's very frustrating for both of us. And that was the episode, the really good episode, the Goon and her suitors episode, so Goon and Egon episode. And we really enjoyed it, talking about all that. It was a really long episode we did, and it didn't get recorded, so we were kind of both really, really extremely pissed about that situation. But we'd really appreciate if you guys gave us like a thumbs up, not thumbs up, liked, and shared this video, because it means a lot. Not video, this podcast episode. And we will see you really soon, and hopefully both of us together. But otherwise, I'm going to try and do my best to, give you guys content, as much content as I can in my free time. So, bye! Quick, hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on our socials too: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on whatever you're listening to this podcast on.